Hey guys, John here. One of the most popular questions that I get on here is in regards to running Windows on your Mac, specifically Parallels versus BootCamp, what does what, and how you install them. So I'm going to do my best to try and answer those questions for you. So first, Parallels, which is what I have, is not put out by Mac at all. It's a software, and what Parallels does is it emulates hardware on your computer. So what that means, it kind of essentially tricks your computer into seeing almost like a C drive, and it lets you install an actual version of Windows. So you're running a real version of Windows on a virtualized computer. So they're both good and bad things to that. Running on a virtualized computer, depending on how much RAM you give it, can be a little bit laggy. I've got about a gig of RAM that I give it, and it seems to be pretty fast. It's not necessary to reboot with Parallels. You can run both at the same time as well, meaning you can easily switch between OS 10 and Windows. And with Parallels 3.0, you can actually drag files from one operating system to the next. If you have a Word document you created in Windows, you can actually just drag it right over to your OS 10 desktop and automatically convert to your Mac version of Word. Very cool. And you can just shut it down right from Windows. No need to, again, restart or reboot your computer. When it comes to games, that's where things get a little bit tricky. Parallels claims that it supports 3D games. I haven't tried it, but I know people who have, and it doesn't run smoothly as a real Windows machine. So my conclusion is what Parallels is good for is anything non-3D intensive. If you want to run Microsoft Office, Parallels is great. If you want to run Adobe Photoshop, Parallels is great. If you're not playing games, really Parallels I think will be fine for you as long as you give it at least a gigabyte of RAM. So that's Parallels for you. Nice and easy. I've enjoyed it for a couple months that I've had it. It's a great feature, and it runs I think about $80. So it's reasonably affordable as well. On the other side of the spectrum is BootCamp, which is Mac or Apple's answer, I guess, to Parallels. And it's currently in beta version. It's a free download, and it'll be included with Leopard. And what BootCamp is, it actually makes your Intel-based Mac machine a full-fledged Windows computer. So it takes advantage of absolutely everything. Anything you can do on a Windows computer, you can do on the Mac. To make that more clear, it turns your Macintosh into a Windows computer. And the way that works is you create a certain amount of hard drive space based on what you decide, and it makes something called a partition. And what that does is it allocates a certain amount of space just for Windows. So when you boot up your computer, you hold down a key and you'll have an option as to whether or not you want to boot into OS 10 or Windows. Now you can't run both side by side like you can in Parallels. So once you choose Windows, it'll load up Windows XP or Vista, depending on what you want, and it'll look and run just like a Windows machine. It'll run 3D games just like a comparable Windows machine will. It takes all your specs and turns it Windows. I guess to make that a little more clear for people, go to apple.com, look at the specs for your computer, whether it's a MacBook, MacBook Pro, or whatever, and where it says running OS 10, put Windows, and that's the specs of your computer right now. So it's great. It's great for games, hardcore gamers, and people that want to run strong 3D Windows-based apps. And when you want to get back to OS 10, you have to shut down Windows and actually reboot the computer and then select OS 10 again. Both are good options. Both offer different things. I have not installed BootCamp on my own computer yet, but I played with it in stores and friends' houses who have it, and it works great. It's flawless. The drivers work. On the new version of drivers, the built-in iSight cam works, just like any other webcam. So then that's that's free. I hope this helped answer some of your questions that you guys have had. You can feel free to shoot them my way when you get through here. And I guess the last side note, when you install BootCamp, what you need to do is you go to apple.com/bootcamp, I believe. And there are steps there that'll guide you through the installation process. You create a disk of drivers, and then you actually install your version of Windows, then install your driver disk. So both are pretty easy to install, and both sort of do the same thing with a little bit different specialization. Hope this helped clear things up for you guys. Feel free to ask some questions. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you everybody for subscribing, and I'm glad we're able to keep this active and hopefully answer everybody's questions. So enjoy, have a good afternoon, evening, or day, wherever you are, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye, guys.